Is Britain still a safe country? Let's get the views of Alex Wilson, Reform UK London Assembly member. Lovely to see you again. Morning, Alex.
Good morning, great to be with you.
I'm going to get to the absurdity of Mayor Khan's recent remarks, but can I ask you about your overview regarding safety and the capital? The authorities will tell you that actually crime is down, but it doesn't feel that way, does it?
No, not at all. And I talk to lots of Londoners right across our great city, and it is a great city, and but it could be even greater, and it could, of course, be much safer than it is. Because the number one concern that people that I speak to on a regular basis have is this feeling of safety and fear of crime in London. Whether that's burglary, the fact that only 2% of burglaries in outer London ever result in a court summons or a charge, whether it's that there's a rape reported every hour, whether it's that knife crime on Sadiq Khan's watch has gone up by at least two-thirds since he was first elected in 2016. Now, he's very good at cherry-picking certain statistics that will show some things improving over the last year. Okay, that's great, but you've got to look at his overall record from the day that he was elected in 2016 to now, and ask yourself: is London a safer city now than it was then? No, it isn't, and that's the mobile phone theft hotspot of Europe. 100,000 mobile phones stolen on London streets in the last year. So the knife crime epidemic. And that's happening at a time when, under his direction, the use of stop and search on London streets has been cut by about a half in the last 3 years, and also at a time when he's closing police station front counters. So it's no wonder that both in real terms, the crime figures, say, across that whole breadth of his record are worse, but more importantly, that feeling that people have on London streets. We want people to feel safe and feel happy and feel comfortable in London, to go around their daily business without that kind of fear that they're going to be mugged or robbed or whatever. And that simply isn't happening at the moment. And he's got to bear a lot of responsibility for that.
Most definitely. And the awful crimes of Simon Levy happened in the capital with a culture of policing and a judiciary asleep at the wheel, which enabled this guy to commit his crimes for far longer than was necessary.
Yeah, it should have been picked up much, much earlier and dealt with, and then him not being given that space and that opportunity to continue, victimizing people, causing, it's just absolutely, heartbreaking reading the details of that case. And yes, the Met were asleep at the wheel on that one. And
it's so bad, isn't it? I mean, this guy, there was one occasion when his bail was extended whilst he stood accused of the most egregious crimes, and when there was a clear pattern of behaviour, and the presiding judge decides, we will extend your bail, so you will have a further period of freedom. And on that occasion, when the bail was extended, on that same day, he raped a woman.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking to hear that, and the entirety of the policing and judicial system had let those victims down, and needs to be held accountable for that.
Most definitely. So what's Mayor Khan been up to?
Well, he's doing what he does. He's still in post and still, I think, getting a lot of things wrong. We've talked about the safety on London streets and the feeling that people have going about London's business, but also across a whole wide range of issues he's failing on. Transport. We are the most congested city in Western Europe, and it's the hardest place, or it's harder than ever, rather, to get on the housing ladder, whether that's for purchase or for rent. Lots and lots of problems with London, and yet Khan, the way he kind of tries to shut down any debate or criticism of his record, he just says that you're talking down London. No, Mr. Mayor, we're not talking down London. We want to talk up London, but what we want to do is recognise that under your watch there are a lot of problems that aren't being solved and that should be getting tackled and should be getting better. London is a great city. It has a fantastic history, rich tapestry of culture and so on, and yet it doesn't feel as good a place as it does when I moved here 20 years ago. And that's largely come under his mayoral administration. If he doesn't recognise that, then he's got no chance of actually fixing that. The first step to recovery is to accept you've got a problem. London has a lot of problems, a lot of opportunities, yes, but it has a lot of problems that need to be tackled first, and he's not doing that. And yet now he's talking about, well, maybe he'll get his reward in heaven. Well, that's fine. He's already got far too many rewards on this earth. His knighthood, now his peerage. Actually, what I'm more concerned about is the impact on Londoners' daily lives here in the present, today and over the next immediate short term. That's what needs to be fixed. And then, whatever he gets up to in heaven, well, that's up to him later on.
I mean, I think at the heart of this, it's only my opinion, Alex, at the heart of this is left-wing socialist policies which have slowly degraded London since he became mayor. London was booming under Boris Johnson. I know you've got your differences with him across a range of measures, but he was very pro-business. They definitely got a handle on crime whilst he was mayor. You could argue that Boris Johnson was a much better mayor than he was prime minister. And you've got this guy who it just feels like he'll be mayor for as long as he wants because London is a left-wing city. But all that means is we've got years more of decline to come.
Well, Boris was definitely a much better mayor than he was prime minister, and he was very disappointing the way he ran the country nationally, and I left the Tory party as a result of that. But no, you're right. He did get a grip on crime, and had a much more pro-business approach. Recognised that to have a thriving city, you need a thriving, dynamic, growing private sector economy. That's something that Labour as a whole simply don't get. You look at the cabinet, whether it was under Starmer or indeed now under Burnham, very little real-world business experience in that cabinet, and so they don't understand what it takes to generate economic value and activity, keep the money coming in rather than just squandering it. And you'll see this. Burnham, I think, again, he's got a good reputation as mayor of Greater Manchester, but I think he's going to be a terrible prime minister because being mayor of a metro mayor is a very, very different job. It's about spending money that you're given rather than having to raise it in the first place. And he's going to struggle because he hasn't got that experience of he's been a career politician one way or the other all his life. No real world business experience, no understanding of what it takes to make a country, an economy, a society really tick. And that's the difference between the Labour government and those of us on the right who do understand that you need to generate something of value before you can spend it.
And I appreciate the importance of all of the regions of this country. It is the United Kingdom. But this north-centric messaging from Andy Burnham is unhelpful, isn't it? It should be British-centric. And actually, maybe we could love bomb the capital, given the fact that London is responsible for such a large share of GDP in this country.
I mean, even with the problems that we've talked about, London is still very much a net contributor to the overall economy and society of our country as a whole. I think it generates about 4/10 of tax revenues, for example.
It's the goose. London. Let's have it right, Alex. London is the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Yeah, and it needs to be treated respectfully as such. And so, the idea that everything about the north. Look, there's fantastic cities in the north as well, and you're right. We need to pull the whole country together, and make sure that the economy and society does work for the entirety of the country. But you need to recognise that London is very much an important driver of everything that happens in our country. Don't be obsessed by it, but do be respectful of it.
Alex, before I let you go, how is your boss Nigel Farage at the moment?
Well, he's very busy at the moment, knocking on doors in Clacton. I've been up there quite a bit myself, hopefully going up a bit later on today. And he's looking forward to a fantastic result in that by-election on Thursday.
I bet you're the housewife's favourite. Do they like it when you knock on the door? You're a fine figure of a man, Alex.
I don't think anyone's ever called me that before. But it's a great response. It's a lovely community. I mean, I grew up just down the road from there in Colchester, so that part of Essex is somewhere I know very, very well indeed. It's a lovely place, full of lots of lovely people, and we've got to make sure they all come out and vote on Thursday.
It is. I really like Clacton. In a moment, I'm going to do the candidates list. But Alex, what about? No, that's all good. I started it, but just in terms of where Nigel's at and where his head is at, I mean, is he happy at the moment? Does he still want to be Prime Minister? Many people are saying that he's angry in regard to his family getting harassed by the various journalists. Then there's the £5 million bung story that won't go away. Is there a chance that he might throw the towel in? Has Nigel had enough?
No, certainly not. I mean, you see the way that he's responded to that, calling this by-election. I think that just demonstrates exactly how committed and how purposeful he really, really is. If he wanted to take a step back, he would have had the opportunity to do that. No, he's fighting with absolutely everything that is in the tank, and there's still a lot more to come. I mean, seeing him engage. I mean, he loves being MP for Clacton. He loves speaking with his constituents. He also clearly loves being on the national stage and outlining plans to save the country. The press conference we had just during the week, talking about our new policies on illegal migration. And he's here for the long term, and he's absolutely fighting to win, first in Clacton and then in that general election whenever it comes. I mean, we're the only party that's calling for general election. We recognise Burnham doesn't have a mandate for what he's doing in government. We need a general election. We need that challenge, that opportunity, and we are fighting hard and fighting to win every vote and fighting to win every seat we can.
Alex, thank you so